Hey everybody, Jeremy here. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman The Dark Knight Returns Build-A-Figure horse that you can get if you have all four characters from this line: Batman, Robin, Superman, and Joker. Put all those pieces together and you get this Black Beauty right here. So right off the bat, I wanted to show Batman on the horse as the horse stands up on its two hind legs. So yes, you can get this pose if you want to. It is not trickery photography. You see that the tail there is acting as a stand itself, sort of like a third leg, in order to keep itself balanced. But yes, it is balanced very, very well. And this is going to look so cool on your shelf if you have the room to put this horse. So this is how it looks when Batman is on it. But now, regrettably, let's remove him and take a closer look at the horse itself. So let's take a look at this Build-A-Figure horse. When I got the first pieces for this, it was for the head and the saddle, and I was looking at it, I remember saying like, well, you know, that's a pretty good looking horse, you know? And as I got all the other pieces put together, that sentiment still remained. Now, yes, it is quite simple in that it's just a straight up black horse. So, you know, there's no extra paint detail in the body or anything like that. But we do have some musculature of a horse. And I don't know if you've ever been up close and personal with a horse before, but they're massive creatures and they're really muscular. So they did a good job of highlighting the musculature of the horse, just like this. And before I go any further, let me just, roughly tell you how you put this thing together. It's not super obvious, but just in case you wanted to know. So the most important thing is going to be these two halves up here, and you can kind of see the seam right there, right down the middle. And what you're going to have to do is combine those. Now, they don't necessarily just snap together like this, like you're clapping a hand. Instead, you put them together and they're going to be a little bit uneven, kind of like what my hands are doing. And you have to sort of move them into position like that. So when you go to snap them together by pushing it up and down on one side, if you feel like it's a little bit hard, just stop, back off. You don't want to break anything. It's going to be a nice, smooth click, just like that. And then once you put these first two halves together, everything else is pretty obvious. The head slots in right here. The legs, you push those in. It's like there's a little circle, hollowed out circle on the leg. And then on the body, there's a bigger circle that you just push it into. And then you slot the front legs into the body and then put the tail in. The rest is simple. The only thing that I think might give some people a little bit of a pause is how do you put the body together? It kind of just goes together like this instead of snapping together like that. Okay, so anyway, back to this horse. Most of the detail is going to come from the saddle and the reins. So you can just see like how the reins go across the face like that. It's not just straight up brown. You do have some silver for the buckles there, so that's very nice. And then the saddle is really cool too. And on the saddle, you can see it's got like a Batman symbol etched in there. So that is really cool. That is a nice detail. I do like that. And this is a really good saddle. There's a lot of, can use the word detail, but it's there. Different textures on the saddle as well. You get the part where you sit on right here. You got the backrest. And then underneath that, there's, I guess it's kind of like a cloth or something that they tend to put on horses underneath the saddle. And that has a different texture on it as well. So I do like that. And I do like the silver buckles throughout. This place here where Batman or whoever you want to put on the horse will put their feet, this is really important because this is what's going to hold the figure in place. Because if you were to just take Batman and just kind of, just put him right here, and if you wanted the horse to stand up on its hind legs, Batman would fall off. But if you have the feet stationed inside of here, that's what holds him on. So make sure that you do that and he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Let's go over some of the articulation on this here horse, which is honestly more articulation than I was expecting. So first, you got articulation in the neck. You can go down that far, kind of like it's grazing, and you can move it up just this far. And as you can probably hear, it's ratcheted. So it's a very, very reassuring click when you move the head up and down, or move the neck up and down. There's a little bit of head articulation. You can kind of just move it just a little bit. You see how the spacing increases right there with the mane? So you can just lift up the head like that, move it a little bit down like that. Not a whole lot though. You get articulation in the legs as well. So you can move the front legs up like that. You can move them back about that far. And then you can also move it from the top. It's a little bit stiff and it makes me a little bit nervous, but it is possible. There you go. You can kind of move it sort of like that. And then you also, at the hooves, you get some articulation there, front and back. You got some rotation there at the hoof, whatever, as well. And then over on the back leg, you can get the back leg to kick out that much. You can bring the back leg forward that much. And it's the same thing for the middle part of the leg. I don't know, do horses have knees? If horses have knees, then, you know, this is where that knee joint would be. And then rotation at the hoof and things as well. And then the tail you can move side to side like that. And you can also move the tail up and you can move the tail down. And like I showed at the beginning, when you do want to get the horse standing on its hind legs and you want it to stand, you can use this tail and kind of just move it out. And then that's going to help keep the horse in place. It's not going to do that now because I have to, you know, move the legs to make it somewhat stable. And then the tail is really just going to finish everything off for you. So yeah, that's the articulation on this horse. So this is a really cool Build-A-Figure. It's unique because we're used to just getting another character when it comes to Build-A-Figures, you know, but this time we're getting sort of like a vehicle. It's a horse, but it's a mode of transportation. And something like this is also cool, kind of like the Drifter motorcycle, because it's something that you don't just have to use for Batman characters. You can put whatever 7-inch figure or whatever figure scale that you have that can fit a horse, and you can put it in that. You can put this horse in different situations depending on what kind of collectibles that you have. So it's not restricted to just one thing. I also think that it's great that you only need 4 figures in order to build this horse. That's fantastic. I'm glad that you don't have to get, 5, 6 figures to put it together. And then the figures from the Dark Knight Returns line, I think that they're all good in their own way. I think that McFarlane did a great job with those characters. So having them by themselves is good enough. But then having this nice big horse to go along with it for all the Build-A-Figure pieces is the icing on the cake. And I think that that's really cool. I'm glad that they came out with this line. And this is definitely a Build-A-Figure line to get, especially if you're a fan of the Dark Knight Returns. And here's just a little size comparison between the horse and Batman for scale. All right, you guys, so that is the review on the Build-A-Figure horse. If you want to get this, your best place that you can go right now is Walmart. Check the shipper for the movie The Batman right off the toy aisle, and they will have this line in there along with some other newer McFarlane Toys lines as well. So you'll be able to get them there instead of waiting for a pre-order if you do have one on pre-order. So thank you all so much for watching again. Until next time, I'm Jeremy. Talk to you later.